go to plan, did it? Anyway, alright guys, hello and welcome to War is Coming between TyRanT Warlords and Civs. Should be a pretty interesting set of games, and this is the first time that we're going to be watching the TyRanT Warlords team play. Of course, we've already seen the TyRanT Legends in action twice, TyRanT Legends being Doubt, Viper, Jordan 23, and Cab, but as well as the others, of course, but they are the main players. This time, TyRanT Warlords, we've got Riot, Fire, Badgiofro, and Slam. Good to see Badgiofro back in action as well, and they're going to be facing up against Civs, which is the B team to Team Psy, who are pretty damn good. But Civs, not quite as good as the Psy A team, for obvious reasons. That's why they're called Civs. But they have got some pretty well-known players, if I am not mistaken, though I don't actually recognize them off the top of my head here. They're probably playing on alt accounts. I recognize, as I said before this game started, Cigarettes and My Ex Forever, but they aren't actually in this game. But we'll let players set up, and of course game number 1 will be Land Nomad, as usual, and we'll wait for the players to get their town centres up before we start introducing them, though they do tend to put their town centres right next to where their lumber camp goes up. But for good measure, just to follow tradition, we'll speed things up slightly during the starting phases of this game. So, obviously, we know the format, we've seen it many times before, but a quick refresher. Game 1 will be the Land Nomad, Game 2 will be the Ancient Lake, Game 3 will be the Warriors Coming map pack, Game 4 will be the Nomad game, and then Game 5 will be the best of 3 in Deathmatch. And thank you to Killin Steels for subscribing and becoming a Wallalo Warlord. Good to see Milmano doing his job in the chat and you know, just doing the general duties of a sale advisor. But thank you very much, man. Thanks for the support, and thank you for subscribing. So this game then, I think it's going to be pretty cool. I think this set is going to be pretty cool. I think Civs got a little bit of potential here. Of course, they are up against some real big players, but the potential is there. And, well, it looks like everyone's starting to put up their town centres now. So let's introduce the players and see who we've got. In the blue, over to the far southwest of the map, we have got Riot. He's playing as the Mayans. And that is, of course, with TyRanT Warlords. His teammates, well, down to the south of him, in the green, we've got TyRanT Backed. He's playing as the Vikings. Backed, Badgiofro. Call him Backed because he's obviously wants to be known as Backed now. I think taking inspiration from Riot's name, you can see that with the capital T at the end, Backed. He's backed in action, and he is setting up his TC down there as the Vikings in the green at the south of the map. At the other south, I guess there's 2 souths if I want to be like that, and I'm saying there is 2 souths of the map. This south of the map, we've got TyRanT Fire, Brazilian player in teal, playing as the Koreans. And last but not least, for Team TyRanT in the for the Warlords, we have got Slam, who's pretty much close to the center of the map, just to the east of the center of the map. He's in the purple there, playing as the Goths. So we've got the Goths, we've got the Vikings, we've got the Koreans, and we've got the Mayans as well. That's for the TyRanT Warlords, but for the Civs team, up to the northwest of the map in the grey, we've got Yu. I think this might be Mr. Yo's younger brother. Yo's younger brother, Yu playing as the Goths. I just made that up. I don't know if he actually is Mr. Yo's younger brother, but yeah, in the grey there as the Goths. His other teammates, well, up to the northeast of the map in the orange, we've got Zhao Ziong playing as the Mayans, for Team Civs, of course. And down to the southeast of the map in the red, we've got Pity Memory playing as the Koreans. And last but certainly not least, their final teammate, who seems to have disappeared. Oh, there he is. Up to the north. Off to the west of the map, even in the yellow, we've got DS playing as the Vikings. So I'm not really sure about these positions. I mean, it's kind of looking a little bit messy. Now, normally, Land Nomad doesn't look so messy, and the starting positions of all the players are fairly reasonable. So for Side DS is on the flank here. We've got Riot on the flank against him. That's Mayans versus Vikings there. So DS probably going to want to wall up a little bit here because he doesn't want to be facing up against the Mayans in the early stages of the game, really. He's definitely not going to want to fight them one-on-one once he gets up to the Castle Age. So so perhaps we'll see a wall off from him. In the pocket position for Sai here, we've got Yu. He's playing as the Goths. Good pocket civ, I guess. I mean, obviously for the Gothic infantry flood in the late game, we'll see them most likely fast castling. And then in the other pocket position in the orange, we've got Zhao Xiong playing as the Mayans. Great, again, pocket civilization, but this is kind of a little bit awkward because it's not quite in the pocket position as it would normally be, because they have got Slam right here, and in fact Slam is closer to Zhao Xiong than he is to Memory, who is down to the south of him. In fact, they're probably about equidistant, but the point is that orange is close to Slam and red is close to Slam, and they're about equidistant apart. So this is either going to be bad news for Slam, or it's going to be bad news for the pocket player of Team Sai, because Slam pretty far out from his teammates here. The question is, will he hold his own? Will he get trushed by one player, which we've seen many times before on this map? And as the Koreans as well, for red here, he might want to do that to allow his pocket player, Zhao Xiong, to actually wall up. But it looks like Zhao Xiong is starting to wall already, actually, and he is going to get those walls in place and probably just want to fast castle this one anyway. As the mines, it's really beneficial to do that. But the interesting thing about this map is that we've not really got any real knight civilizations here. The Goths are, well, they've got reasonable knights. They can actually make fully upgraded knights in the Castle Age, but the Goths are not really thought of as a cavalry civilization as such. They're much more of an infantry civ, as seen by their their Huskars, their unique technologies and all of that. So the Goths not really seen as an a cavalry civ. The Koreans as well, not really seen as a cavalry civ. I mean, you're not likely to see the Koreans making knights and upgrading them into cavalier. It's much more likely to see them trying to boom up a bit and then go for either archers if they're pressured in defense, or defensive mangonels, and then go into war wagons later on. And then other than that, of course, we've got the Vikings, who most likely are going to fulfill a slinging position in this game, and then we've got the Mayans, which are an archer civ and don't even have a stable. So it is a kind of different land nomad game to the ones we've seen before, where we've had the Franks, the Celts and other civs, that the Persians and the Chinese, which are of course going to be making a lot of cavalry as soon as they get up to the Castle Age to take map control. So it's going to be interesting to see if they'll do the same here. Will they do cavalry in the Castle Age, even though the Koreans and the Goths don't really have much future in cavalry? They're not really so big in the cavalry industry, and I think it will be interesting to see how this plays out. Slam here, though, in a little bit of a dodgy position, like I say. He's kind of sandwiched between Zhao Xiong and the red player Memory. And at the moment, he's trying to take these deer, but I think he's going to end up laming them more than anything, as these villagers get beat, and these guys from Memory chase them away. Memory's going to take those deer, and of course, Slam's not going to want to have any of that. But of course, at the same time, Slam is outnumbered, and they can't both take these deer in peace. There will be some bloodshed. There will be some hot competition to see who can get the most meat off of these deer. And at the moment, it's looking like Memory is going to be the person to do just that. And Unfortunately for Slam, he did, I believe, lose one of the boar at the south. You can see here, Orange has 3 boar under his TC, and I'm just looking at Slam. It looks like he's only had the 2, but I may be wrong. He may have had the 3rd. There was one here, but judging by this wall off from Orange, I'm only going to assume he's got it. So Orange as well taking those deer, and we've got Red taking those deer, and that puts Slam in a bit of an awkward situation, because Slam hasn't really got that much extra food, and we'll see if he still manages to do a nice feudal age time here. But he could be under a lot of pressure. Fortunately, he does have some stone, and the reason I'm focusing on Slam so much is simply because of his location at the moment, and it not looking so good to begin with. Of course, the pocket players for TyRanT could easily support him once they get up to the Castle Age. Fire could, of course, add some knights and support Slam. Even though Korean's not typically a knight civ, he could do that and help him out anyway. But it will be interesting to see. Memory losing a villager, though, to Slam's town centre. He was baited in and then picked off, painfully picked off. Zhao Xiong going for that fast castle. There's that market and blacksmith, and he's playing as the mines, so of course his resources last a little bit longer, meaning he manages to get a lot more food off of these deer, off of the boar, off of the sheep, and it's a really good civ to have in many situations, simply because as the Mayans, you really can't have a bad dark age, and on a land nomad where food can be scarce, or sparse, you can definitely make the most of the resources that you have. And as he's actually had quite a lot of food here, he is definitely taking and making the most of it. Up to the Castle Age already for Zhao Xiong, and that's it. I mean, he's the only one. Most other people are upgrading to feudal, but they're still in the Dark Age, whilst this guy upgrades to castle already. So really good start for Zhao Xiong here, and we'll see where he takes it. On the left flank, we got wall-offs from the Viking player here, the yellow player DS, and walling against Riot. Riot's probably going to be fine with that though, because he's playing as the mines. He will most likely want to fast castle this one anyway. And then of course Bagiofro and Fire. No real walling for these guys in the back of the map here. Whereas you and with Zhao Xiong walling on this right side, Team Sai actually have a full team wall already. So Sai, pretty good with the team wall. Unfortunately, Memory is cut out of that team wall. He's on the other side of it. But the TyRanT guys don't have any team wall at all. And we've seen it many times before where walling up with a team wall can be pretty nasty. So Slam here is not teaming up with the team wall can be pretty nasty. So Slam now is up to feudal, but look how many farms he's had to seed here. We know, we've seen this already, we've discussed this. Seeding this many farms is never ideal. Having a look at the other players, there's 2 farms for red, no farms yet for orange. Fire has no farms, Riot has no farms, nobody has any farms really, apart from Slam, who seems to have all the farms. That's literally just because he does not have the natural food to take. He's been walled out, and he unfortunately didn't find these sheep back here as well. So I think most of the action is going to be happening around Slam's base. He's kind of pinned in here. At the south, he's got a wall off from red. At the north, he's got a wall off from orange. And orange going to be the first up to castle as well. So you've got orange, who's going to be castle now, and Slam, who is just up to feudal, but he's had to seed all these farms. It's never an ideal situation to have to do that. So Zhao Xiong is up to the Castle Age, that second town center coming up. He's taking the stone at the back, and it looks like he will just boom this one. Maybe we'll see some aggression from the red player once he gets up to feudal as well. I think he already is actually, but I just wonder if we'll see that or not. Obviously, this guy pretty exposed, but he's going up with a market at the moment, and he looks like he's going to end up fast castling this one then. If he's doing a market and a blacksmith, it does seem like that will be the case. Perhaps a little bit of a risky one. But game pause, that means that this game has been, well, saved and is going to be restored. So hopefully get a part number 2 will be right here in my library, and it's not. What on earth? Why? Why is that? Why did that not work? Alright guys, bear with me just one moment. I think I know why this might be. I will fix this up. Just give me 1 second. I need to do something very quickly, as game 1 now has just crashed, and I think I know the reason why it's crashed. I will fix it and sort it out, so stick exactly where you are, and I'll restore that game from where we left off. Bear with me just 1 moment. I need to reload. And the reason for that is because these guys didn't play with the War is Coming mod. And you're supposed to play with the War is Coming mod. So I have the War is Coming mod on my PC here, and I obviously launched the game with that, so there was an incompatibility when someone tried to research coinage and banking there. My version of the game says, whoa, you shouldn't be able to do that, and the recorded game tries to do it, so that's why it crashed. But I will be able to restore very shortly here and continue from where we left off. Just give me 1 moment. I'm going to very quickly load up that recorded game again and fast forward us to where we were at. So let me just find my recorded game folder real quick. I have so many files and folders, it's unreal with Age of Empires stuff. So TyRanT Warlords and game number 1. So I just got to fast forward things through to where we were at before, which was 20 minutes in. You can hear it going in the background, I'm pretty sure. And I got to be careful not to go too far. We're already at about 10 minutes. I didn't break it, by the way. It's the players who didn't use the right version of the game when they played the game. Hence why it didn't work properly for me. Nearly there. 19 minutes, and we are, bam, 20 minutes. And I'll bring it back into the game right about now. So pause this music, and we'll continue from where we left off, basically. So let me switch to the in-game scene. Alright then, let's unpause and continue then. So sorry about that little problem there. The players here played with the wrong version of the game, and I have the War is Coming version of the game. And yes, there are two different versions of Age of Empires that are being used for this tournament. Well, there's only one being used, but they played with the wrong one, hence why this broke. So down at the south here, I just noticed this. You, the Psy player, tried to set up a sneak at the back of Bakt's base, at the back of his base, and Bakt's having none of that. He's walled it in with the stone wall, and he's got his blacksmith up there as well. That's stable from you, producing one scout cavalry, but no more. His villager being chased away, and likely to potentially, well, most likely to die here. So, Baggio for a quick reactions, good spot by him, and it's a bloody good job as well, because if Grey had got away with that, Baggio as the pocket player would have been wide open to some early harassment. But anyway, you still getting up to the Castle Age in a good time, probably using that stable as his second feudal age building anyway, and starting to boom up as well here, with new town centers coming up. So this wall-off situation on the right side is really interesting. We've got a stone wall from Pity Memory here, and well, Piety Memory, and Slam is just kind of caught between this wall-off from orange and the wall-off from red. There's no way he's going to get out on this right side, and the only salvation he has is that he can escape through the back of his base. But this puts him in a really precarious position, and certainly a position that I wouldn't want to be in, to be honest with you. He is going up to the Castle Age, though, so he's going to be able to, potentially protect himself, but he's not got enough stone for two town centers straight off the bat, and it doesn't look like he really has a game plan at the moment. There's no barracks coming up, there's no feudal age buildings or military production buildings. Maybe he will try and put up I don't even know, like a siege workshop and try and bust his way through. Or maybe he's just going to take some stone and build a castle and boom up. I mean, whatever he does, it's going to be tough. He's got no access to stone wall as the Goths, and he can't really wall his opponents out here. So he is in a disadvantaged position in this location, and we'll see what he makes of it, I guess. So Castle Age is coming in for most of the players now. In fact, Slam, not even the last one up. In fact, DS here, the yellow player playing as the Vikings, he looks like he's going to be doing a sling, and that's why the game crashed last time, because he's done coinage in the feudal age, and he wasn't supposed to be able to do that. Using the wrong stuff, the wrong not recorded game. I'm trying to check out my words. I can't remember what I'm trying to say. The wrong data file, so that they have access to coinage in the feudal age. So if we have a quick look at DS's tech tree, just a quick look here. You will see that under the market, coinage has been researched, and he shouldn't be able to do that in this tournament. However, he has, and he's basically now going to be slinging his teammates. And if he sends a sling to orange, if he sends a sling to red, doesn't matter who, they could really start to put quite a lot of damage onto Slam here. Slam putting up that town center on the front on that gold, and well, other areas of the map, we got another TC at the back. So Slam, I don't know if he took the stone or not for that extra town center, but I'm going to assume he didn't. He either bought it or he was sent it by his teammates. But there you go. Wow, good tower. Really good tower from the red player here. He's got 8+1 range on that, which is pretty good. And obviously that's not with fletching or bodkin arrow or anything at all. So that's a fantastic tower. It's going to push Slam away from this wood line. And Slam's second town center that he's put up here is on a wood line, and this is also hittable by this tower. So this is a really good tower from the red player, and I mean that's about as the most effective you could have a tower, in any situation. That's so good. That is so good. It's none of this funny business with building tower after tower after tower. Just one simple and effective tower. Slam though, siege workshop out, and he's gonna actually get a siege workshop up and put out a mangonel to try and push this tower down. He's probably gonna be successful in doing so, but it is a guard tower now, as this is a Korean tower. It gets upgraded for free once the Koreans reach the Castle Age. But that was great. And, well, pity memory at the moment, just 3 TCs. The orange player up to 3 TCs as well, but some serious walling going on this right side. Double stone walls, that is pretty hefty. Considering that the red player is down here, double stone walls is pretty nuts. You've got to bear in mind that, you know, stone is really valuable in this game, really valuable. And this guy's double stone walling it up everywhere he can. Fair enough. The yellow player as well. These guys really living up to their reputation. Look at this. It's not Black Forest, guys. That's a 3-layered wall right there. And that's a little bit overkill, if you ask me. But they really want to keep TyRanT out, and I guess they are succeeding in doing just that. So let's see who DS is actually slinging here. We'll see where he sends his resources to, and I'm going to assume that it's the orange player, judging by the orange player's score, judging by the fact that he's got his university and monastery up, and indeed it is. Xiaoxiong getting that sling, going up to the Imperial Age really quite quickly on those 3 TCs. Question is, what will he do next? Well, there's a castle on the front, and he could very easily go into plumed archers, he could very easily go into barracks and start Eagle Warrior production, but it's up to him, really. He's got the choice, and to be honest with you, whatever he does at this point in time is probably going to be pretty beneficial to his team. I don't think they could really go wrong with either of those options, with either Plumed Archers or Elite Eagles. Elite Eagles will be good for raiding. Plumed Archers would be good if he makes a lot of siege and starts to just slowly whittle his way through the enemy's base. But yeah, Slam here, going to have a castle dropped right on the front of his town, and that's going to force him away from that town center. He did get down, or did take down that guard tower though, so at least he's got his wood line back, but he's in a very precarious situation on the center of the map there. A few plumed archers from Riot coming over, and Slam going to run away, run to the hills, Slam, because he might be squeezed out of his location on the map very soon. And I'm sure the TyRanT guys are going to look at that score from Xiaoxiong and just realize that, yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a sling for him. So Xiaoxiong here going up with the barracks, and yeah, he will go with the Eagle Warriors. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good strategy to go for. Plumed Archers, like I said, would be also very viable if he was to push forwards with a lot of siege. But with the Eagle Warriors, he can spread out, he can run through Slam's base, raid his economy, and he can try and get into the other Tyrant's ecos as well. And now you see this really weird situation where you've got Bagiofro and Vaya building this team wall that's not in the place you would initially think. I mean, you'd think the team wall would go across where my mouse is now, across to there. But no, it's coming across right down the middle, and Slam's on the other side of it. So Slam now about to be slammed, I think, pretty hard. We've got some petards coming up from Xiaoxiong as well. And I don't think he really needs the petards, but there's the Imperial Age upgrade. And he's going to start pumping out those trebs, start pumping out those eagles. And yeah, Slam is not going to be Slam for much longer. Well, the petards, I don't know why he actually did petards here, to be honest with you. There's actually no benefit to really having them other than perhaps taking down the town center quickly. Maybe he thought that Slam would have had a stone wall up, but Slam is the Goths, so no stone walls for him. The petards are going forwards anyway. I guess they're just going to target that town center and do minimal damage, but hey-ho, there you go. The treb's out, and he's probably going to target that TC anyway, with the Eagles also attacking it. Elite Eagle Warrior is now done, and well, no, he doesn't even need to attack that TC with the Treb. He can attack the next one. Slam overrun by Elite Eagles, and there is so little he can do in this situation. He's creating a wall off here with houses. The rest of his villagers are basically on the wrong side of the wall, but Slam is making a push in the south, which is pretty nice. He's getting up a castle here. He's put up put out a couple of monks, and he's basically breached the house wall of Memory. So Memory putting up a counter castle now, but I think Slam's going to get his up first anyway. But Slam not into the Imperial Age. It's not like he's going to be able to push forwards with some serious force into Memory's base. Memory with that defensive castle here is going to be more than able to protect himself from any immediate danger. And meanwhile, Slam's base is well, everything's on fire. Let's put it that way. It's not looking good for him. He's running away back through the team wall of Bagiofro here, back through there, and whilst while the other side guys are just continuing their boom, sticking up where they are, and just yellow 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of wall Is it really that necessary for this many walls, Mr. Yellow? 1, 2, 3, 4 layers over here as well. He's loving it at the moment. He thinks he's playing Wall Simulator 2014. And that is not what this game is about. So Slam's castle here, again, in a little precarious position because Trebs are in at the north of his base, and they're starting to take that down already. Xiao Zhong here, just splitting up his units all over the place, gradually taking down whatever buildings he feels like at the time, I guess. And Slam gonna lose everything he's worked so hard to build up over the last 34 minutes of this game. Yeah, sending those villagers back to try and rebuild. Now, the grey player, he is still in the Castle Age, but he's about to click up to Imp. We've got Riet on the way up to the Imperial Age, and we've got Bagiofro also on the way up to the Imperial Age. So the pocket players for TyRanT are about to reach the Imperial Age, but it's never good to have one of your players taken out this early in the game, and with these guys now, these Elite Eagle Warriors, nearly being fully upgraded, just missing the final attack upgrade. They do have their unique technology done, and just Slam opening the gates here. These Eagles chasing him down some more, and a lot of dead villagers from Slam. Slam's population now down to 48. It could be worse, but he is having to rebuild from practically nothing at this point in time. Fortunately, he is in the Castle Age, so, you know, he can build a couple more TCs and rebuild slightly faster than if he was still feudal, but he's still losing villagers to these Eagles, and he allowed them through the first layer of the wall, and perhaps that's why these guys have 4 layers of wall here, just because, you know, you never know. The first layer of wall could be compromised by some bumbling, idiotic villagers, and before you know it, all the Eagles are in your base. So the Eagles here look like they've got through somehow, and, well, yeah. Xiao Zong's not stopping there. Of course, he's going to start moving in towards Bagiofro. Bagiofro doing that fortified wall upgrade, though, and that wall still going down pretty quickly, considering the fact that that is now a fortified wall. Fire, though, is up to the Imperial Age. And as such, he is doing, well, he's Korean, so what is he doing? That's a good point. I don't really see too much military from him right now. I'm seeing a lot of barracks from Bagiofro on this right side. I'm not seeing a huge amount of military from Fire. I wonder if he's going to go into war wagons or not. But ultimately, they're going to have to do something to stop these Eagles, which are just at the gates, quite literally, and bringing them down slowly but surely. So it's basically one guy from Psy, one guy against well, all the other TyRanTs, because it's not like Pity Memory at the moment really has much going on over here. It's not like the grey player has some huge army back here. It's just Orange, who is almost 1v3 in this situation. He's against Fire, he's against Riet, and he's against Bagiofro, who's building the long swordsman on the right side, looking for two-handed swordsman, and will probably have that done very soon. Bagiofro's first gate falls, and Xiao Zong is sitting outside of there looking pretty good. Going to be continuing to try and perhaps take this one down as well. So, looks like Riet is asking Bagiofro to sling slam here. Sling slam. So, I think Bagiofro going to start slinging slam to try and get Slam back on his feet. Seems like Riet is calling the shots here. Good old Riet, telling him what's good. But Xiao Zong still got those petards out. He's still going to be busting down those walls slowly but surely. And this game is starting to get very messy now as everything sort of converges in the center of the map. So Memory unable to really do anything outside of his walls for now, as those two-handed swordsmen are sort of sitting there by Bagiofro. And the Vikings can't really do much else but the infantry here, I feel, against the Eagles, of course, champions. The heavy swordsman line is a great counter to them, and Vikings do have pretty good infantry as well as the Goths. So I mean, there are options there, but obviously Slam's pretty much out of the game at the moment, so that's not so good. I'm just keeping an eye on Orange, because he's through this wall now. Riet has now opened the wall, opened the gate. Bagiofro didn't lock it, and that's a big mistake, because those guys are in, and they are going to cause a lot of problems. This is now many Eagle Warriors breaking their way through. The petards from Xiao Zong busting down that gate, and, well, there's a lot of elite plumes here from Riet, but they can't afford to get surrounded. And there's probably even more elite eagles on the map at the moment as well. So these eagles are just going to pretty much spread out. And Slam was thinking, God, I thought I'd got rid of them. I thought I wouldn't be seeing them again for a while. But here they are, just outside of his walls once more. And they are running in. Slam probably going to lose a couple more villagers. Unfortunate for Slam, because he'd only just managed to escape this and set up this new town centre. As these eagles come over and kill his villagers once again. A lot going down though on this left side. Obviously fighting underneath 3 castles is never a good idea. So Riet retreating to a good position. In fact, there's a 4th castle to the south of this as well. But the side team look really good at the moment. They look like they're in a really advantageous position. They look like they are very much staying as the aggressors. But in comes Bagiofro, kind of coming in a weird angle, coming up through here, through the center of the map, going through this way, and killing off these villagers, these forward villagers from Orange, taking out these eagles as well. And Bagiofro nearly got his champions fully upgraded. He's got the +4 defense and +1 attack. He's going to get +2 any moment now, and those champions will be fully upgraded for him, which is not bad actually. Look at how quickly they take down those eagles. They really do a good job and a quick job of well, they make pretty short work of them. So that should stem the flow of eagles heading into these guys' base. But that did a lot of damage actually, as Xiao Xiong just relentlessly pushing forwards. And if he's still getting a sling as well, he could probably very comfortably keep this Eagle Warrior production up, but at the same time he could also switch into some plumed archers here, and I think he's probably going to do just that. If we have a quick look at his castle, the plumed archers are coming out, and sure, he doesn't have the defensive upgrades here, he doesn't have chemistry, but he does have quite a few a few castles, and he has got the option to make quite a few plumed archers, which will cancel these champions quite nicely from Bagiofro. So we got a quick switch there, a very intelligent decision. But Riet with many more plumed archers on the map, much more in terms of upgrades, and he has got some siege rams here as well. So Riet should push this back here with what he's got. But everything seems to be on fire, and fire himself now with the siege onagers. We gotta love that. Yes. Siege onager hype. Here we go. Siege onagers are out. Plumed archers are on the map. That's a potential for a lot of dead plumed archers right there. You, meanwhile, coming forwards with some barracks. He's playing as the Goths, so he's going to go for the Gothic infantry flood and taking full advantage of that faster barracks creation speed. But the side team have got a really good trade line up by the looks of things. They've got trade going up on this top side of the map here, and it's so untouchable at the moment by the TyRanT guys, and TyRanT will not be able to trade like that at all, and trade is going to become really important very soon as these guys begin to run out of gold slowly but surely. Their trading options are really limited because yellow has walled off this corner of the map, so the furthest markets will probably be here from Riet, and then they'll either have one at the back here. Yeah, they put it up here, so they're gonna have trade between these markets, but it's gonna be nowhere near as efficient as the Psy B team, and that is a real big problem. Meanwhile, at the south of the map, we got Siege Onager for Pity Memory or Piety Memory, and that's good. We got 2 Siege Onager civs fully upgraded, and yeah, I mean, who cares about the fortified wall fire? Come on, we're just gonna cut around that. And that is exactly what the red player is going to do here. And these walls just absolutely useless now as the siege onagers cut around them. Really good play by Memory, and a lot of players forget that siege onagers can do that. They spend all their time focusing on taking out the wall instead of just going around. It certainly works well. Meanwhile, those siege onagers in the middle of the map here keeping Xiao Xiong at bay, but this could be a problem as these champions and hand cannons work their way in. Bagiofro here, masked champions, going to dive very quickly to the hand cannons if they decide to fight head on. And of course we have got the siege onagers here from both Memory and Fire. Memory with more upgrades on that though. He's got +3 range rather than the +2 of Fire, so that's fully upgraded. But this is going to be pretty difficult to hold off here on this right side. If these siege onagers stay up from Fire, they could take down the hand cannons pretty quickly. So far though, Slam, what are you doing, Slam? He blocked the siege onager from making a shot. That was a pretty big mistake. But those hand cannons have been bought some time, and well, Side just going to try and roll on through here. It will be a little bit tough because there's a lot of buildings blocking this, making it slightly more difficult to kind of get through. But there is a hole. There's bombard towers coming up at the back of this as well, just to secure their push. And in the center of the map, it looks like this might start to be pushed back slightly as well. Fire still has these siege onagers here, so we're just waiting to see some big shots from him. Perfect opportunity for Fire to get some really big shots here. But those Eagle Warriors they're so menacing when they start running up to the hole in your wall here, and they are going to run straight through. And those onagers are not going to be onagers much longer. But whoa, pretty big shots there actually. Quite a lot of those Eagles went down, but it looks like Fire will lose his onagers eventually. And that last one there just being cut off. And of course, without those onagers, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to push against so many elite plumed archers. But these guys, Riot and Xiaoxiong, full upgrades. But it does look like Riot slightly lower on the numbers. And it's not surprising, considering that Xiaoxiong had that slaying, or still probably does have that slaying. Meanwhile, in the north of the map, though, this is pretty huge. Riot, the reason why he doesn't look like he's got so many plumed archers here is because a lot of his army is actually over here. He's busted through these walls. He's like, right, that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walls down. And Riot making pretty quick work of that, and headed up on this flank position to the Viking player, who has nothing left anymore, really. He was basically just still in the, well, he still is in the Fuel Age, I believe. DS, oh no, he's gone up to Castle now. About time. But yeah, he's got up to the Castle Age now, but he lost that town center really quickly. Riot on that flank looking very strong. And unfortunately for Riot, though, heading straight into Elite Huskars. So Sai taking a pretty big blow on that left side. On the right side, though, they are still pushing forwards. There's a lot of siege here from memory, and that's a bunch of bombard cannons, siege onagers, and hand cannons. That is a real death ball of an army right there. And those bombard cannons able to clean out huge areas of the map. They had 12+1 range, and just a really nice attack. They're just going to clean up these buildings so quickly here, make a lot more space for the side team to push forwards into, and as a result, probably push TyRanT even further back on this right side. But over on this left side, really good play by Riot there, taking DS out pretty quickly. And there's now the fortified wall from DS, probably a little bit late after half of his walls are in tatters. But you just had to send over a couple of Huskars, and it pushed Riot right back. And now they're trying to focus on the middle of the map, which is looking pretty bad for TyRanT again, because Xiaoxiong is here with those massed elite plumed archers, and they've got right into that trade line already here from the TyRanT guys. The TyRanT guys don't have the best trade as it is, simply because they can't trade all the way along the length of the map. In fact, Riot trying to put up markets over here, but siege rams coming in from Xiaoxiong, going to be taking that castle down pretty quickly, and with so many plumed archers coming through, with elite Huskars as well. The trade line here from the TyRanT team is under a lot of pressure, and they could end up losing quite a lot of trade. On the right side, they're still being taken down by the Korean player Pity Memory, as he masses up those bombard cannons even more. And I'm just surprised that Fire hasn't really been able to do more with his onagers here, but those Gothic Huskars getting involved and taking them down, focusing them down very quickly. And once again on this right side, getting very close to the trade line, and that's a GG from the TyRanT team. And well played by Sai B. A very good play by them. And like I said, I can't help but think that TyRanT Slam got a pretty bad start there. He was in a pretty precarious location at the start of that game, and it showed because he did get pushed back, and he did get beaten off on two fronts pretty quickly. But that sling that Sai did was obviously very good, but it was stronger than it should have been. And now this game should have been replayed, and TyRanT said that they will accept their defeat here and not force a rematch. But there should have been a rematch for this game, simply because the players didn't play with the War is Coming mod, which basically removes coinage from the feudal age. And as the Psy team had coinage in the feudal age and probably had banking once DS reached castle, DS was able to sling a lot more resources than he should have been allowed to his flanks. And it's obviously all the players' faults for not realizing that the mod was not being used, and as a result, TyRanT not gonna force a rematch, even though they could, and just accept this defeat. But Psy still played very well anyway, and they did have a very good game. But I think no hard feelings here, and we'll go to game number 2 in just a second. I have to restart my game though and load up the game with the